Dr. Nario of Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. Thanks for being with us, Doctor.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Let's talk about the immune system. I know immune system is obviously very important to keep it strong. So just describe to us, just to start off here, before we get into some of the things to support it, just describe the immune system.
Well, Steve, the immune system is a complex network of cells and proteins. Its function is to help the body fight infections most of the time, but not all, but just one of the specific, characteristics. It's like a fence that separates your home to invaders. Is watching everything like a hawk from the inside to the outside. Majority of this is located in the gut, and we all know the microbiome is always something that we have to maintain in order for us to have a good immune system. And the main parts of the immune system that fights infection would be there are two parts. One is the innate, wherein the white blood cells and also natural killer cells are mentioned. And this is the army that's behind the fence. And it comes in real quick when the intruder comes in, guns blazing, and kills that intruder that fast. The second one is the what we call the adaptive. So this is where the T cells, B cells, and even production of antibodies comes into place. It's a slower, more powerful army that comes in. It has a more intense and strategic attack versus the innate, which is the one that I mentioned a while ago, which is a non-specific rah-rah type of approach. And again, this shows up in chronic and repeated infections or insults so that we can have a stronger killing capacity for it.
Okay, so can you tell us some of the different things that can, I mean, from supplements to lifestyle changes to just four things kind of off the top of your head that we kind of talked about before we got on camera to help support the immune system? What would be one of the first things that you would bring up?
Well, Steve, supplements, of course. And, number one, supplements, or maybe even through food, right? But let me now get out of the box here so that at least we can give some praise for our unsung heroes. Because we always hear about vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D. Let's talk about the other ones that actually has a good effect in for our immune system that I use usually in my practice. One would be mushrooms, not LSD, but it's more of the shiitake, maitake, agaricus, which actually boosts your antibody production. And as we all know, antibody production is in a response initially towards infection and is more powerful than the next exposure when these infections reappear. A good example would be for you is the increasing production of IgA, which is a protector of mucous membranes and actually improves gut immunity, especially with inflammatory foods, parasites, infections. And again, this will be acting as the first line of defense. Another one that I use would be methylene blue. It's also a blue dye and has a very potent antioxidant use in relation to treatments nowadays. It has a potent antibacterial or microbial function. Again, as mentioned before, it's very good. It was used before for UTIs and can also be a killer for malaria. It was developed in 1876 as a bull stain. Methylene blue also is a powerful antioxidant when combined with glutathione and NAD. Increasing the amounts of NAD thus produces more protection for the mitochondria and now more ATP to produce a powerful immune system to fight infections.
Okay, so the mushroom, the different types of mushroom, you can get that because I take it in. I don't take it all the time, but I take it in a capsule form. You can get it that way, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And then the methylene blue, you can also take orally.
You can. There are prescription grades and there are also commercial grades, but again, I use the prescription one for the quality.
Right, and I know you order that through a special account and so on, and or your patients can order it. You write it, and allow it, and the patients go order that. So I know how that works. And then the methylene blue can also be done as an IV, right?
Yes, that is correct. Not for the mushrooms, though.
Okay, so that's a couple supplements. What else can people do to help support their immune system?
Well, again, lifestyle behaviors. So, again, exercise, we always hear about that. Again, just to touch up on it, Right amounts would be 3 to 4 times a week. Again, making sure you double your pulse for almost 20 minutes, less than 60 minutes, actually has been proven to boost the immune system. It reduces chronic low grade infections and improving responses to even vaccinations. So, this has been proven through a study. And this also least likely to make you have upper respiratory infections. And of course, billions of immune cells are mobilized in response to a single bout of exercise. This releases like enzymes from the skeletal muscles, for example, called myokines. And acute exercise, moderate to vigorous intensity, less than 60 minutes, activates the immune system, enhancing its defenses against any invaders. And when you look at this, if you do this regularly, there's a summation effect, wherein as you do more exercise, the immune system responds quicker, faster, and stronger. So remember, exercise can also be too much. When we think about the professional athletes, they also get sick regardless of that intensity. And even though they're eating healthy or not healthy, because of cortisol, overworking or over exercising promotes this, and thus cortisol uh, deflates the immune system, thus lowering down the capacity to kill infections. That's why aggressive exercise needs to be defined as heavy exertion lasting longer than 90 minutes. And again, this opens up the window for immunity to be lowered down. And thus, there's also an involvement of depletion of nutrients.
Okay, so that's exercise, obviously. And exercise, people know, everyone, thinks exercise is good for you, but it's a bigger deal than what people realize. Just to get your body working, and you kind of prescribed kind of a good way or guidelines on how to measure whether you're doing too much. So I think I know what the last thing you're going to say is.
That is correct. Diet. Nothing beats diet. In general, increased consumption of fruits and vegetables will minimize the complications of infections. And example would be influenza, as well as it also lowers down the incidence of course, flu-related hospitalizations. Let me give you two fruits or two food groups that are kind of not mentioned in the talks and when you talk about diet. The power of gold kiwi fruit lowers the severity and duration of congestion and sore throats for one day when the elderly studies were done. And for preschoolers, the chance of getting the flu is reduced by 50% and will improve symptoms if they already have it. Another one that we find even in the stores, wakame seaweed. The one used in seaweed salads boosts antibody and immune cell production for better virus protection. It even enhances the production of antibodies after receiving the flu vaccine. Not promoting that, but I'm just saying, if you choose to get it, if taken 1 month prior to vaccination.
Yeah, that gold kiwi is delicious. You're making my mouth water. So, all right, there's four things, everybody, that you can do to help strengthen your immune system. Dr. Nario, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Steve. And again, it's always a pleasure. As we all know, that knowledge is power. And thank you for letting me provide you with edge in longevity and health maintenance, which I call the biological edge or the bio edge.